Welcome back to another episode of Golf is Hard TV, golf show for the rest of us. How you doing, Dave?
Great.
Good. We just finished a great round here at Tasha Knolls. Beautiful day.
Oh, perfect.
We've been waiting for this weather. It's just phenomenal. But now we're back and we're going to do some new shows. So we hope everybody's excited. Keep the questions coming. We got some good ones. We got a question, and it's a question I have as well. And it's a particular type of shot, a 40-yard kind of pitch chip shot.
Right.
Very difficult shot. Sort of definitely in between clubs. I'm not even sure which club to hit. I've been hitting it with a sand wedge. You're trying to just kind of hit down on it, get it up in the air, and hopefully it'll be a decent distance. But talk to me about that shot, because I know a lot of people have that.
Yeah, that came up on the course with you today. We got an email or a question on the website from Kyle out in Minnesota, and he was asking that in terms of the flop shot. It's really kind of all the same. The question is, how do we judge distance when we get inside a full swing? That's the question.
Right.
It's very difficult to do without practice, and the short answer is we just need to practice repeating one shot in there, whether it's 50, 60, 70 yards, whatever it is. We're all limited in the amount of time that we have to practice. So if you can go out on the range, and I'm going to demonstrate a little bit, and let's say we practice our 50-yard shot.
Okay.
Then we know how much swing we need to repeat that 50-yard shot. So then we can go from there on the course. If it's 60 or 70 yards, we get a little more swing. If it's 30 or 40, a little less swing, because we know how to hit the 50-yard shot. Okay. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
And then as far as flopping it or hitting a lower bump and run shot, that's just a matter of club selection.
It also matters what's in front of you, right?
Exactly. The great thing about Golf's Hard TV is we covered a lot of this stuff already, so you can go back and look at some of the short game, the chipping episodes, and you remember the concept. The higher the shot, the higher the risk.
That's right.
You don't need to hit a high flop shot unless you absolutely have to get it over a bunker or over a water hazard or something, if you have a tight flag. But if you have a lot of green to work with and there's no trouble in front, hit a nice low running shot, which might mean taking a pitching wedge, playing a little more back in the stance. We've covered the ball positions and how it affects ball flight, and hitting a low running shot. Now, the thing is, we see Mickelson and those guys hit the big high flop on TV.
It's pretty.
And it's pretty, and it goes up, and it doesn't really roll, lands near the flag. I can tell you they only do it when they have to.
Yeah,
they
it's
have
a high-risk shot.
Yeah, it's over a bunker.
All right.
And they're
Phil likes the risk.
They're usually not going to blade that shot, which means it's going to fly 80 yards over the green if they hit it.
Blade is what I do.
Yeah,
blading.
blading.
It scoots off, right?
Blading it or hitting it thin is there's a range ball. The equator is actually right between these two red lines, as you can see. And as soon as that club comes up and hits anywhere above the equator, that ball's going on the ground. It's going to be, you're going to top it. Blading it would be considered almost right at the equator or slightly under it, where you just hit it. And we've all hit these shots, also called a thin shot. Yeah. And it just takes off about 2 feet off the ground, goes forever. That's why you're taking a full swing on the flop shot, and if you blade it, it's gone. It's over the green.
All right, so let's get to the judging distances. You got a game or something you're going to show us, right?
Yeah. What we're going to do here is we need to adjust the camera because I want to have the. I want you to be able to see the ball. I'm going to talk about a couple things. Then we're going to hit some shots from a different angle. Okay, so this is what we want to think about when we're practicing these partial shots. We think of the ball as 6 o'clock and our head as 12 o'clock. Okay, now let's think about in terms of arm swing. How much arm swing do we want? So we want to really think about. I like to think about my left arm. So I'm going to take a bunch of shots here. My back swing is going to go to 9 o'clock, meaning my left arm is going to go to 9 o'clock. You can see, consequently, that my wrists are fully cocked at that position. They are in the full swing, and for this chip, they're going to be. So we don't want to make it too complicated, but you have to let the wrists hinge the way they normally would in the swing. But think about how much swing in terms of your left arm. So right here, I'm going to just take a few shots with a back swing to about 9 o'clock, meaning my left arm to 9 o'clock. And that's a nice high, soft, about 40 to 45. And the reason I know that is because I practice it a lot. Used to practice it a lot. So that right there, for me, I know that with a sand wedge, with the ball basically in the middle of my stance, and a nice little 9 o'clock left arm backswing. That's about 40 yards. So there we go. Now we're gonna talk about we're gonna play a little game that we can practice with on the range, kind of make it interesting. Okay, here's a great game to practice distance control on the range. So what you want to do is hit a shot, hit a shot about 20 yards, and then hit the next shot a little past that, the next shot a little past that, and so forth. So each shot goes a little bit farther out. That's a great way to practice fine-tuning your distance control with the wedge or sand wedge or whatever club you want to use on the range. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. So I'm just going to take a little 8 o'clock swing. I know my 9 o'clock swing goes 40 yards. So I'm just going to take a little 8 o'clock swing. And consequently, you can think of your follow through pretty much the same length as your backswing. So if I'm taking a 9 o'clock backswing, my follow through is 3 o'clock. So you call that a 9 to 3. 9 to 3. 9 to 3. Now the shot I just hit was 8 to 4. 8 to 4. A little 7 to 5 chip shot is probably just going to be a little bump and run. So now that shot I hit was about 8 to 4. It went about 25 yards. Now let's try that again. Okay, so we saw where that ball landed. Now I'm going to try a 9 to 3. Okay, so that's about 10 yards past that. It's about 40 yards. Now I'm going to take it back to 10 o'clock, and that's going to be a 2 o'clock fall through. So that was about 60 yards. Now I can take it back to 11. Now we're getting close to where it's almost a full swing. And a little more. So there you go. It's a fun little game you can play to practice your distance control with the wedges on the range.